one of the baristas here at Knowledge Perk, and today I'm going to be walking you through how to do a pour over at home. So, today we are going to be using our Columbia coffee. It's a light medium roast with tasting notes of molasses, honey butter, and cherry. I'm going to explain to you the various things that you'll need to do a pour over at home. This is the equipment we use in the shop, and there will be links below the video where you can find these things. But I'm going to walk you through the names of all of these so that you can get them for yourself. So, the first thing, the pour over. Today we're using a Hario v60. V60s come in ceramic, plastic, and glass, and today we will be using glass. Next, you need some water. Filtered water is preferable, but you can use any water that you have at home. And speaking of filters, you will also need a filter. This is what you're going to put in your V60 so that you're not just pouring grounds directly into your cup of coffee. Over here we have our Baratza Encore grinder. That's what we're going to be using to grind our coffee today because we do sell our coffee whole bean, so having a grinder at home helps you make it really fresh. And we're also using a kettle. In front of me is a Fellow kettle. It's got a nice controlled pour so that you can cover all of your grounds without using too much water. But any kettle you have at home is fine. It can be stovetop, it can be electric, whatever you have on hand is going to work really well. So the first step of making a pour over is to prep your water and your brewing vessel. The ideal water temperature for brewing coffee is 205 degrees Fahrenheit. Here at the shop we have these very fancy controlled temperature kettles that tell us when it reaches 205, but if you're at home using a regular kettle on the stove, you can bring it to a boil, which is 212 degrees Fahrenheit, and then let it sit for 30 seconds to a minute, which will bring it down to 205 degrees. So the next step is to pre-wet your filter. That helps us get the papery taste out so that when you brew your coffee it doesn't taste like you just drank it out of some fresh packaging. So what you're going to want to do is place your filter in your V60, grab your preheated kettle, and you're just going to give it a nice coat of hot water and let that seep through. This is going to leave some excess water in your carafe, which is this little nice glass guy down here that's catching all of our coffee. All you have to do is dispose of it, pour it down the sink. I mean, you can drink it if you really want some hot water, but I wouldn't personally recommend it. So I'm gonna put that in my little waste bucket over here, set this guy off to the side, and now we're ready to measure our coffee. The next step is to measure out our coffee. So I'm going to do that with my handy dandy little cup right here. In front of me I have a scientific scale, really it's a coffee scale, and we measure here at the shop in grams. There are going to be some little measurement conversions for you in the text so that you can do it at home without a scale. Next you're going to grab your coffee once you have your scale or your measurement tools set up. I really like to have a whole bean on hand because when you open it, it still smells really fresh. So, we're going to measure out 22 grams of coffee. The reason we do that is because in the grinder you'll lose half a gram to a gram just because it gets lost somewhere in the ether. And so you'll want to have at least 21 grams of coffee to brew with in your pour over. Once you've secured the beans, it's time to grind the beans. So, we're going to move over here to our Baratza Encore grinder. Here at the shop we use a setting of 18 on our grinder, which is more of a medium to fine grind. Every grinder is different, so it can be difficult to explain exactly how to grind your beans at home, but we will show you a close-up of the ground so that you can try and master that there at home. Now that your beans are ground, I'm going to show you kind of what you're looking for in grind size. This is what it looks like. And now we're ready for the fun part. Next we get to start our brewing phase. So first you're going to grab your V60 coffee vessel. I'm going to set my little bean cup aside there. You're going to take your grounds, very fresh, very fragrant, and you're going to dump them on top of your pre-wetted filter that's just been hanging out waiting for some grounds. So now we're on to our brewing process. You're going to start your timer and leave it running the whole time you're doing your pour over. No need to pause and restart. So the first step of your pour over, once your water is 205 degrees, you've got your wetted filter and your grounds, is called the bloom. You're going to pour 50 grams of water and wait 30 seconds. And the reason you do this is to help the grounds release CO2 so that the flavors and the tasting notes in your coffee are very clear. So what you're going to want to do is with your 50 grams of water, cover all of your grounds so that all of them can release that gas. All right. And then you're just going to wait 30 seconds. Take a moment, look out the window, think about what you're gonna do today. We're gonna move on to our next pour. You're gonna pour up to 165 grams of water, and then you're gonna wait till your timer reaches 1 minute and 5 seconds. So as you pour, what you wanna do is start in the center and do a spiral pour so that you can cover all of your grounds out to the outside and then back in a spiral until you reach 165 grams. And again, you might have a little downtime. Respond to a text, call your mom, but say, Mom, I'm making a pour over, so I really have to go. Please stop talking, thank you. Alrighty. And you're just gonna let that water sink over. The reason you do a spiral pour is that it helps you get a really even extraction from your grounds, so you're getting maximum flavor out of your coffee. So the next step, once you've reached 1 minute and 5 seconds, that's gonna be your third pour coming up, is 265 grams of water. So again, I'm gonna do a spiral pour. And after you pour your 265 grams of water, you wait until your timer reaches 1 minute and 55 seconds. So I'm just doing my spiral pour to the outside, back in, covering all my sweet little ground babies. Once again, you have some downtime. Might be a good time to get a workout in, you know, if you're really crunched for time. You're choosing a pour over fitness right now, but you know what? You have a solid 30 seconds to do some high knees, a jumping jack perhaps, maybe a burpee, maybe. So, you let those sink in a little bit more. When your timer reaches 1 minute and 55 seconds, you're gonna do your fourth and last pour. And this is just going to be a center pour, meaning that you pour your water down through the center of your grounds until it reaches 350 grams, which is gonna give you a nice, full, single cup of coffee, which is the goal of a pour over. So I'm just gonna pour right down the center until I reach 350 grams of coffee. And then I'm going to stare intently, waiting for my coffee to be ready because it is the only thing that gives me joy. Please. You can set your kettle back down, wait a little bit, microwave an egg, if that's how you do it. Take a bite of some toast. And finally, once the water has seeped through your grounds, you can pick up this bad boy, take out the old filter full of grounds, dispose of it in whatever waste bucket situation you have. I sincerely hope you have a trash can. Maybe you have a garden, put the grounds in the garden. Maybe you have a spare bucket, put them in the bucket. Now that you've finished brewing your coffee, you can remove your V60 from your carafe and pour your coffee into a mug. A pro tip from us to you is that you can heat up your coffee drinking vessel of choice, whatever that may be, with some hot water before you pour the coffee in there so that it doesn't cool your coffee down as soon as you pour it in. Delicious. There's going to be links to the products we used in this video below, including the coffee that you can actually order from our website. And coffee tastes better out of a Knowledge Perk mug. We sell them in the shop. Friends don't let friends drink bad coffee. Thank you for spending some time with me. Like and subscribe.